Hi all, welcome to the A-Level Law Essay channel. This is a specially requested episode by one of the viewers. I don't have plans to cover any A2 chapters now, but since some of my students are also going to sit for the A2 papers, I thought that I should make one before your exams. In this episode, the essay is going to be covering the chapter consideration in the contract syllabus, and more specifically regarding the performance of existing contracts. It is my first problem-based scenario question for this channel, and so the format may be a little bit different from my previous video tutorials. Before we begin, please subscribe to my channel for more video guides on essay writing and many other interesting topics. And if you are a subscriber and regular viewer of my videos, thank you. I would appreciate it if you do like and share my videos with your friends so that they can benefit from my remote guidance as well. Thanks. With that said, let's get started with part 2 of video guide number 9. Question. The question reads, in January, Bobby the Builder was employed by Carrie Curry, a local celebrity, to erect a one-story marble statue of her likeness so that she can unveil her own glory to all of her fans in her hometown on her 40th birthday bash in May of the same year. The price was agreed as £1 million for the completion of the statue on the day before her birthday. After encountering a lot of problems in the early stages of the project, it was clear that the statue cannot be erected in time for Carrie's birthday bash, as it was already the month of April and the statue was not even halfway done. Bobby explained to Carrie that he needs more money to buy new equipment to work faster and finish the project on time. Carrie, in her desperation, promised to pay Bobby an extra £500,000 if he can finish the project by the eve of her birthday bash. Without hesitation, Bobby sold his house so that he can have enough money to buy the new equipment needed to finish the project. As soon as the new equipment arrived, Bobby was able to finish erecting the statue in a very short period of time, and by the end of April, the one-story marble statue of Carrie Curry was erected in its full glory. Upon inspecting and admiring her own glorious marble statue, she told Bobby that he has done an excellent job, but she will not pay him the extra £500,000 as it wasn't part of the original agreement. Discuss Bobby the Builder's legal right to the additional payment promised by Carrie Curry. To answer a scenario-based problem question, it is important to first identify the relevant parties and the issues that they are having with each other. From the scenario, we know that the contracting parties are Bobby the Builder and Carrie Curry. The contract between the two of them was for Bobby to finish erecting her statue by her birthday for the price of £1 million. Due to some problems, Bobby cannot finish it on time, and Carrie promised him an extra £500,000 if he can finish the project on time. However, upon its completion, Carrie refuses to pay Bobby. Naturally, the problem here, as per the question, is to discuss whether or not Bobby has a legal right to claim the additional payment that was promised by Carrie. After identifying these two important things, we should then be able to figure out which chapter in the contract syllabus this question is covering. By the looks of some of the key points in the scenario, it is safe to say that it covers the chapter consideration and that it focuses on the topic performance of an existing contractual duty. Before I begin going through the essay, I would like you to note that my answer is not the perfect essay answer, but it only serves as a guide for you so that you get an idea on how to write your essay and score the highest mark possible for your effort. Incidentally, I may have also left out certain minor details from my content video, as whatever points that have been discussed earlier only serves as a guide for us to reach our end product, which is the essay. Introduction. Contract is a legally binding agreement between parties to perform certain obligations towards each other. Based on the scenario given, the contracting parties are Bobby the Builder and Carrie Curry. The main issue arising from this case is whether or not Bobby is entitled to the extra £500 payment. And in order to determine this, we must first consider if a valid contract exists between the parties. Point 1. Body paragraph 1. As the contract is between two persons who have exchanged promise of obligation towards one another, it is therefore a bilateral contract. For a bilateral contract to be formed, one party must make an offer and the other must have accepted it unequivocally. Otherwise, as according to Tin v. Hoffman, 1873, a valid contract is not formed. Applying this to the facts, it can be assumed that Carrie, the offerer, has offered £1 million to Bobby, the offeree, in exchange for his services to build a one-story marble statue in Carrie's likeness by her birthday. Bobby is also assumed to have accepted that offer for his services, thereby forming a valid and enforceable contract between the parties. Point 2. Body paragraph 2. However, the more important question is whether or not the extra £500,000 payment is part of the contract. To determine this, we need to decide if the promise to pay the extra amount is valid consideration, as in any contract, consideration is also an important requirement in the formation of valid and enforceable contracts. The case of Dunlop v. Selfridge, 1915, defines consideration as a mutual exchange of something which represents some benefit and detriment to both contracting parties. In the original contract, on the facts of the scenario, the mutually exchanged consideration was £1 million for the completion of the project by Carrie's birthday. In fact, executory considerations were exchanged between the parties, i.e., that both parties promised to hold their end of the bargain so that the agreement can be seen through. Point 2. Body paragraph 3. Before the agreement can be fully honored by both parties, problems arose and Bobby cannot fulfill his obligation to the contract. Due to that fact, Carrie, in her desperation, agreed to pay Bobby an extra £500,000 for the same obligation that he has already promised to her in the original contract. After the completion of the statue in time for the birthday bash, Bobby now wants to claim for the extra £500,000 payment as promised on top of the original price. Because it isn't part of the original contract as stated by Carrie, she refused to pay Bobby, as she has no other legal obligation within the contract other than paying Bobby the agreed £1 million. Moreover, if, following Dunlop's principle, nothing was given in exchange for the promise to pay £500,000, since what Bobby has done cannot be valid consideration, as he was already contractually obliged to complete the project. Point 3. Body paragraph 4. To address the question on whether or not Bobby has any legal right to claim for the extra £500,000, we will need to consider if his performance of an existing contractual duty amounts to valid consideration. Past cases such as Steele v. Myrick, 1809, and Hartley v. Ponsonby, 1957, have shown that a promisee is entitled to pay which is not part of the original contract if what the promisee has done is beyond the duties stipulated within the original contract. Therefore, if we apply this principle to the case, is it possible to argue that Bobby did actually do more than what he was contracted to do? It is possible that he did not, but what he has done was to take the trouble to spend some of his own money to purchase new equipment so that he can do the work faster and eventually finish it in time, which he did. Point 3. Body paragraph 5. The legal principle under Williams v. Roffey, 1991, dictates that if one party's promise to perform an existing contractual duty to supply goods or services confers an additional practical benefit on the other party, then providing that no duress is involved, it will be sufficient consideration to make a promise given in return binding. Here, Roffey's promise to pay extra was supported by valuable consideration, i.e., in return for Williams finishing the job on time, Roffey would avoid losing money under the penalty clause in their contract with the building's owners, and the cost and inconvenience of finding another contractor to finish the job. Applying this argument in Bobby's favor, we can say that with the inevitable situation at hand, the new agreement on top of the original contract benefited Carrie as she gets to unveil her situation on her birthday. Therefore, the exception of considerations general rule may be applied in the scenario, and Bobby should be entitled to the extra £500,000 payment as promised on top of the original price. Conclusion. Despite there being a legally binding agreement on what Carrie owes Bobby for the completion of the project, common law under Williams' case dictates that if both parties receive some practical benefit from the new agreement, the promise given in return for the performance of pre-existing obligation is good consideration. Therefore, Bobby is entitled to the extra payment of £500,000. That is the end of the essay sample for this video tutorial. If you have any questions or opinions on my approach to answering the question, please do comment below. Do check out part 1 of this video tutorial for proper content guide on how to answer this question. I will put a link to it in the description below. If you find this video tutorial useful, please like, share and subscribe to my channel for more. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time.